Hello guys, good evening. How are you? Can you hear me? Hannah?
Sometimes I feel like
Welcome to our second episode of Livestream Sundays. This is the second time that we're having this online here at Skip the Flip. So before we start, I'd like to invite everyone to join me with our LSS every Sunday at 8 to 9 p.m. So for now, I'm still waiting for others to be online and watching me online here for our live stream. So currently, we still have Hannah online. Johanna Marie Frijoles is live with us. So good evening. Today or tonight, we'll be talking about basic blog post on your blog, or let's say the basic parts on your blog. Because last Sunday we discussed about blogging in general. What are the things or the 5 things that you need to know for your blog? So tonight we'll be having a different topic but still similar. We'll be discussing more on the basic parts of a blog post. We have already 5 viewers online, so good evening. Maayong gabi sa inyo Hi CJ. So last week or last Sunday, we discussed about the 5 things that you need to know when you wanted to start a blog. So let's just have a review. So the first one would be the niche or the topic that you'll be going to write about on your blog. That's very important because that's your concentration on your content for your blog. And then the second one would be knowing your audience. Is also very important because you may adjust the writing technique for your content for your blog when you know the kind of audience that you have. So last week we discussed on probably the gender of your viewer or your followers, and also the age bracket. So if you can also check that on my Facebook page, so just go on to facebook.com Skip the Flip official, or just search for Skip the Flip. And also I've already uploaded the live stream video on my YouTube channel. So if you may go to youtube.com/skip the flip. Alright, another part of our review for last week's discussion would be the sharing. Okay, let me try to have that first. Alright. Sorry guys, I'm still adjusting the lights of the smartphone I'm using. By the way, again, for this live stream, I'm using an Asus Zenfone Live for this session. But by the way, for those who are just watching right now, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. So with my live stream, I'll be talking about blogging because yes, with my blog skiptheflip.com, I'm talking about blogging and social media. So hopefully if you're watching and then you wanted to start blogging, somehow I can give you tips, basic tips on how to start your blog. For this particular discussion for our live stream Sundays, we'll be tackling about the basic parts of a blog post. So I have here my código because again, I wanted to have a free flow discussion of our session tonight. And also, if you have questions, so just leave your questions in the comment section. I will try to entertain each and every question that you will be posting. And we will have an hour of discussion about blogging or social media in general. When you wanted to start a blog, you need also to consider not just the niche, not just about your audience and your social media by sharing them online, for example, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, if you wanted to convert and give more emphasis to your content as a graphics or a picture, so you can use Instagram. It's also very crucial that you need to master or be familiarized with the content that you're creating on your blog. So let's just call that a blog post. So in creating a blog post, or you write about e-content, it's very important that you also need to consider some things before you hit that publish button and share your content to your social media. The very first thing that you need to do when you wanted to write a blog post is think about your title. So the title of a blog post is very important because that's the working box where you wanted to expound an idea on your content. So as a blogger, you should have the skills, or probably look for some tips on how to write your content. So it's very important that you have your title ready. But yeah, I also have blogger friends who are writing a blog post. What they are doing first is create a content, write a content, and then later on they will decide what's going to be the title of that blog post. I don't know if anybody online is doing that, but for me, generally, I consider first the title of a blog post because that's my limitation, and that's my concentration when creating or writing a blog post. Now, when you create a blog post, a title, the things that you need to consider are the following. So make sure that your title is more likely limited to 70 characters. So 70 characters. So you need to avoid title more than 70 characters because when you share your blog post and then have it cached on search engine, for example, Google will only recognize the first 70 characters of your blog post title. When you wanted to list that on search engine, let's say Yahoo or Bing, any search engine will only recognize the first 70 characters of your blog post title. Of course, it should be well thought of, the title, before you create your blog post. The title should be, let's say, pinaghandaan. It should be studied. It should be researched thoroughly so that when you create a blog post, you can't be turning around the bush, and then you can't go beyond the topic that you wanted to convey or the information you wanted to provide on a blog post. So if you have a title ready, if you had a title ready and you wanted to modify or enhance it, you can still do so before you publish your blog post. But the title should be well thought of. It should be researched, and also it should be informative in a sense that if a reader would read your title, he or she already knows what's the content of your blog post. But even though title is the first part of a basic blog post, it is only the second most important part of a particular blog post. So later on, I will be discussing probably around 10 parts of a blog post, just basic. But title is going to be the first, but title is not the primary or the very important part of a blog post. But okay, anyway, later on, we will be discussing what's going to be the first or the most important part of a blog post. Title should be 70 characters limited, well thought of, and then consider that the title of your blog post is the second most important part of your blog or your content in general. The next one would be after the title, you should have your headline. So that should be the first paragraph of your blog post to make it easier for you to understand. So that's the introductory part of the blog post. It's more likely the the brief summary of the content, of the overall content of your blog post. So it's very important as well to also consider that your headline should be catchy, very catchy, and then also it's like the summary of the overall content of a blog post. It gives a reader the hint of what's going to be the topic that you're going to write about on your blog. So that's going to be on the second part of the blog post, which is the headline. Next is the content or the general content of your blog post. So as I've mentioned earlier, the title is the second most important part of a blog post. The content is the most important part. That's probably the overall part of the blog wherein you wanted to relay an information, probably share a story to your readers, and also provide information for, let's say, in my case, I blog for cebufinest.com. What I do is I provide information to my readers for a specific event here in Cebu, to for example, where they can buy tickets, how much the tickets would cost them, when it's going to happen, and probably what time and the location. So if the content is the most important part, therefore you should consider that the information that you have on your blog post, or I mean the content, should be complete. It should also informative and also reliable, let's say, because there are other bloggers, they give out incomplete information, and then the tendency is the reader would leave a comment. Well, it's also a good technique wherein you leave out some information hanging on your blog post so that your readers would interact on your comment box. But let's say your blog is more likely something that would provide information to your readers. Let's say for a specific event, it's very important that your content or your points are complete. You should have the information, and then you should also have the details necessary for your story, let's say, or the information on an event complete, so that the reader would be, let's say, satisfied and share it on their blog posts. I mean, share it on their social media like Facebook. Now, when you create a content, you should limit that to minimum of 300 words. So on the title, it's 70 characters. For the general content, including the headline, you should limit it to 300 words minimum, or below 1,000 words. But I know some bloggers, I know some friends who write more than 1,000 words. It's a travel tip or a travel guide. But if you wanted to create a very competitive and very reliable content on your blog post, you should limit your content to 300 words. That includes the headline and the other parts of the blog. I hope we have aspiring bloggers who are watching right now. So tonight I'm going to discuss about the basic blogging content and composition. I'll not be discussing about how to write a blog because it will not fit on the 1 hour discussion. But what I'm going to discuss is to give you only tips to consider what are the parts of a blog post or a content in general. If you had questions, please leave them on the comment box. I will try to answer them individually. But along the way, we will be discussing more on the topic tonight on our live stream Sundays. Okay, so we already have the title. The next is the headline. And next is the general content or the points. The next part is the call to action. It's somehow the part of your content wherein you invite your readers to probably share or do something after reading your blog post. In my case, for skiptheflip.com, what I do as an ending before I end my blog post, I invite my readers to leave a comment in the comment section if they have questions or if they have something to share to potential readers that will drop by on my blog. Also, I invite them to share the content if they like to share it on their social media like Facebook or Twitter. And I also encourage my readers to also reply to the readers' comments or questions if they have the idea of what's the topic is all about. So you call that call to action. It's very important. Do not just publish your blog posts without call to action part on your content, because again, the call to action is something that would encourage your readers to share the idea if they like it, or probably leave a comment in the comment box if you have a comment box. And again, when you say comment box, it's like somewhere they can write their idea or leave their questions or probably ask you more details about your blog post. So again, it's very important for you to have a comment box and also a call to action paragraph. If we try to go to my blog post, I'll try to check that. So I have a sample call to action part on a blog post. I'll just not tell you which blog post, but you can check that on my blog, that's skiptheflip.com. So sometimes I would say, do you have one basic step to always write about your favorite topics? Share your thoughts and leave them on the comment box below. You can also share your ideas on Facebook and Twitter, and share this blog post if you want to have more information about this particular topic. I don't regularly update it that much, but I have Instagram too. So that's an example of a call to action wherein you invite your readers to leave a comment, to share it on their social media, or probably follow you on your accounts so that they can have more details about a blog post. By the way, guys, good evening. If you had questions, so please don't hesitate to leave your questions in the comment box below. I'll try to answer them. We only have 1 hour to talk about tonight's live stream sessions. It's going to be our second episode. So last Sunday, I discussed about basic blogging. Now I'm discussing about basic blogging content writing and composition, because again, I think that's the second crucial part of a blog. So let's try to review. First, you have the title. Next should be the headline. Next should be the points or the content. And then the fourth one will be call to action. Joms Chino is watching right now. Good evening. Welcome to Skip the Flip live stream session. So I don't know if you had plans to write or blog in the future. So if you do, I hope this is going to be helpful to you. By the way, guys, you have question. Peter Vincent Go is watching right now. Pete, good evening, good morning. Where are you right now? I don't know. US? I'm not sure. Alright, Julian has a question. Can this be applied to videos as well? Well, what I'm discussing right now is just the basic content. So probably it can be applied to a vlog, because I do vlogging as well. I have my YouTube channel. So what I do before I end my video, I invite my viewers to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Leave a comment in the description, in the comment section, or check other links in the description box below the video. So probably it can be very similar to videos on YouTube or other format on Facebook, because we all know that Facebook already has video format. So like this one. So I'm live streaming right now on my Facebook page on Skip the Flip. So probably it's kind of similar, but of course, since video is more on the visual, it's kind of hard for you to invite directly your readers, since like this one, they need to watch everything before they get invited to share your content. But on a blog, they can just scroll down and then look for the call to action part on your blog post. What's your YouTube channel? Okay, youtube.com/skip the flip, or you can just search Philip Andrew Mayol Peter. So I have my YouTube channel, or if you can like my Facebook page, you can see there the links to where you can get into my YouTube channel. Okay, do you have any other questions? Julian, did I answer your question? Because the different thing between a video and a blog, or like a blog that we usually do, since it's in a writing format, our readers can just skip the content and then go down to the call to action, wherein they can be invited to, let's say, share their idea by leaving a comment in the comment section, or share the content on their Facebook or Twitter. Unlike a video, since it's a video format, they need to, let's say, watch everything before they get invited to share your content, not unless the YouTuber would not forget to invite the reader or the viewer to share the video, to like it, to subscribe to the YouTube channel, or to click the notification bell or whatsoever, or look for other information on the description box, wherein we can only put links on the description box, because I think YouTube already disabled putting clickable links on the video itself, because they already have the end. I don't know, I'm not familiar. They have the end part wherein you can integrate or embed your picture to be clickable, to subscribe to your channel, YouTube channel, or watch your other videos. Okay, anybody who has questions tonight for our discussion before we have further information or discussion or topics? I think that's why giveaways are more effective in videos. Yes. So if they share the video, you encourage them to share it, because if they do, you will give them something in return, a giveaway. If you have difficulties in writing a title for your blog post, I have here basic technique on how to write a title. Sometimes it's very challenging for a blogger to compose a title. That is why other bloggers would tend to write first the content and then later on think of the title of the blog post. In my case, I first write the title, because that is my limitation to what I'm going to write on a blog, depending on the topic that I wanted to convey. Okay, now, when you write a title, it's very important to first think of the subject that you're going to talk about on the blog. Let's say you wanted to write about travel tips. So on your title, words like travel tips should be there. It's very important because that's your main subject of your discussion. Next would be limiting yourself to a specific number. So let's say you'll be going to give them 5 travel tips. So the word 5 should be included on your title. So we already have the subject and then the number of. So the 5 blank 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 travel tips. Now when you write a title, you can also give adjective or adverbs to your title to expound the limitation of your title or your content. So for example, the 5 easy blah 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 travel tips. So you can give them adjective or adverb, or the 5 most effective travel tips blah blah blah. Okay, I think Aldrin left a question. Is there a rule or restrictions on creating a content or a guideline? As a blogger, you can just write about anything as long as you are knowledgeable about the topic. I think there will be no restriction or guidelines unless unless you give out wrong information to your readers. So probably that's one guideline. Do not give them wrong information. Other tips that I can give you in creating a content, it should be informative, of course, because the reason why you wanted to relay or convey an information is to write a blog post about it and share it to your readers. So it should be informative, it should be realistic, I guess. Not unless your blog is a satire blog. I think everyone is familiar of what satire blogs are all about. It should be complete. I don't know, but yeah. Actually, there's no specific guideline or let's say restriction in writing a blog, as long as you're familiar on what you're going to write about, and then you have the resources needed to complete your content. Because again, as what I've mentioned earlier, the very competitive blog post should be minimum of 300 words to 1,000. But again, as we all know, Hannah of beenintransit.com is challenging everyone to write more than 1,000 words. I guess she already accomplished to write 5,000. I'm not sure if I can still remember. I don't know if Hannah is still online watching us right now. Hannah, you have written a 5,000 word blog post on your travel blog, beenintransit.com. Okay, so Hannah confirmed, because she is watching right now, she already did a 5,000 word blog post article on her travel blog, beenintransit.com. So again, when you write a content, it should be limited to 300 words minimum. It should be very helpful to your SEO to at least 1,000. But again, there are other bloggers who already achieved to writing more than 1,000 words. I've already read a blog post that is more than 5,000. So it's kind of long, but again, it depends on your readers. By the way, as bloggers, we really depend on what kind of readers we have and what kind of information that we need to convey to our readers. Because if it's just an event blog like myself on cebufinest.com, it's just short. I only limit it to 300 to 800 words. Not unless if it's a review or a complete feature presentation of a, let's say, a hotel or a restaurant. So I need more than 300 words to accomplish into one blog post before publishing it. Aldrin, did I answer your question? Okay. Alright. When you create a blog post, there are some things that you need to consider. When you write a blog post, first, 300 minimum to 1,000 siguro, or beyond 1,000, 5,000 if you can do that. Also, it's very important that you have your keyword ready for your blog. It's very important for SEO. But if you talk about SEO, we'll be having that probably on our next session for live stream Sundays. SEO is kinda in the middle of basic and advanced discussion on blogging. Keyword, it's the word that you are going to use repetitively on the content. For example, I'll be using blogging as the keyword. So the keyword should be mentioned on the first paragraph or the headline of your blog post or your content. It should be mentioned there. It should be on the title of your blog, the keyword blogging. And also, as I have a particular plugin on WordPress that I'm using to monitor the keyword usage on my blog. If you're familiar with Yoast SEO, YOAST SEO, that's a plugin that you can install to your WordPress website, wherein that system will check for you how many times you already mentioned the keyword on your content. So I'm checking one here on my blog. It says here on the analysis, because once you install the Yoast SEO analysis, the plugin on your blog post, it will give you a very detailed information what are missing on your content. So let's say uh, the focus keyword should be mentioned on the headline. So again, I mentioned earlier what is a headline is the introductory or the first paragraph of your content. So if you consider blogging as the keyword, use the word blogging on the headline. It should be appearing on your headline. Another thing is, if you're familiar with heading should be the H1, H2, and H3. It's like if you had a title, the heading is your chapter of the content. The keyword should also be mentioned on the heading or the subheadings on your blog post. That's very important. Okay, Joms has a question, sorry. The minimum 300, does this also apply on photo blog? I'm not into words. I just wanna tell stories through my photo. How's your SEO on your blog post? I mean, if you are limited to less than 300, is it searchable on search engine like Google or Yahoo? Because if you have a photo blog, probably on every photo you create a paragraph for each photo. Let's say, because a paragraph normally is around 2 to 3 sentences, just to give a good SEO to your blog post. So let's say, since you're a photo blogger, probably you would consider giving one paragraph each photo, and then one paragraph consists of 2 to 3 sentences. Is that workable on your part as a photo blogger? Because as far as my experience, I haven't tried photo blogging wherein I just present photos on my blog. I'm not sure. I'll try to check with other bloggers. I'll just probably send you a direct message, Joms, if it's applicable for photo bloggers to just put photos on their picture, on their blog post without words or 300 words. I'm not sure if it's workable on SEO, but let's say for photos, let's say if you're familiar with the alternative wordings on your photo, that's very important as well. And also for the file naming. So for example, you had a specific topic wherein you need to go to Kawasan Falls in Cebu. Make sure that the word Kawasan is mentioned on the file name of every photo you upload on your WordPress blog. That's also one technique that I've learned, is to use the keyword on every file name that you have for your photos, file naming. Well, anyway, I just need to ask other photo bloggers if it's workable for them, wherein they have minimum 300 words for their photo blog. But I'm not sure. I haven't tried photo blogging, but let's see. Because in my case, when I write a blog post on skiptheflip.com or cebufinest.com, what I usually do is to accomplish at least 300 words to 500 words. But with photo blogger, I am not sure if how does it work for them to be competitive on SEO. But I'll try. If you can leave Joms, if you can leave the URL of your blog, probably I can check. Just leave in the comment section your URL, and probably invite our other viewers to go and check your blog, your photo blog. So for those who are just watching right now, good evening. My name is Philip Andrew Mayol. I'm a blogger in Cebu right now. I blog for skiptheflip.com and also for cebufinest.com. So you're watching my live stream Sundays. It's a live streaming session every Sunday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Usually I talk about blogging and social media. So for those who are watching right now and would consider blogging as a new passion, or for those aspiring bloggers who wanted to continue their passion, probably this session will help you learn more tips about blogging, because I've been doing blogging for more than 10 years now. So it's my time probably to share what I've learned and what I've experienced about blogging through live streaming, because I'm currently partnered with ASOS Philippines. I'm using the Asus Zenfone Live to live stream this video. By the way, shout out to Asus Philippines and thank you for giving me the opportunity to use a unit for the Zenfone Live. Do we have other questions? Time is very fast. I only have 1 hour. I only have like 10 minutes left. So probably I can answer more questions. Joms, not yet done. It's okay. It's okay. Probably we'll just communicate in private about your blog. I'll try to check that. Photo blogging kinda interests me, but I mean, I'm more on the talkative side of blogging. I write contents more, but of course I had photos on my blog because I consider photos as important or crucial part on a blog post. I need to have at least 2 to 3 photos in one blog post. Unless it's a poetry, I only have 1 or 2. Because on my skiptheflip.com, if you can check that, I also write poems on my blog. So usually I only post 1 or 2 photos on my literary works. Okay, do you still have question, guys? Before we wrap up this session right now, and before we do a review on what we have discussed earlier. Vinyl Joy, good evening, late, yeah. Okay, so before we end, let's just try to review what we have discussed for tonight's live stream Sundays. So basically, I've discussed about the basic blogging tips on how to compose or the parts of a blog post. This is not about how to write a blog post, but it's just more on what to consider or what to know more, the parts of a blog post before you publish it. The first one should be the title. Again, title is very important, but it's the only second important part of a blog post. The title should be your limitation on what to write and what information you provide on your blog post. It should be limited to 70 characters because the search engine only acknowledges 70 characters on your title. So if you go beyond that, your title should look like blah 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 ... It's very ugly for online listing. So if you wanted to have a title, it should be limited to 70 characters. So when you write a title, you should be consider it on the subject. So that should be your primary topic. So let's say earlier I discussed about blogging. So the word blogging should be there on your title. And then after knowing the subject, you should describe or give number of. So let's say if you wanted to give a topic or a tip or tips about blogging. So let's say you can say the 5 ... about blogging. So you should have a specific number so that you can limit yourself to only 5 tips on blogging. And then also after considering the number of, you should also have an adjective or an adverb to your title. So for example, the 5 very basic tips on blogging. So that's primarily a very easy way to compose a title. So you ended up like the 5 most basic tips on how to blog, for example. So after the title, headline is number 2. It should be this the first part of your content. So in a layman's term, it's the introductory paragraph of your blog post. It's a summary or the overall summary of what's going to be the content of your overall content on a blog. So the reader should understand or know what's going to happen on the content through your headline. So not too cliche or not too complete, because if your introductory paragraph or the headline is already complete, the readers would not go further on your content. It should be just a very brief summary of what's going to happen or what's the content of your blog on the headline. Not too cliche, but very catchy. Next, the content, the overall content or the points. So I mentioned earlier, yes, Rome, hapit na kumuhuman. I only have 5 minutes, I guess, before I end this episode 2 of my live stream Sundays. So after the title, you had the headline. The next should be the points or the content. So the content is the most important part of your blog post. You should have at least 300 words or below 1,000 words. But again, as I've mentioned earlier, and as I've talked about earlier, a blogger, friend of mine, Hannah of Been in Transit, already published a 5,000 word blog post on her travel blog, beenintransit.com. But as a blogger, as a starter, or as a aspiring blogger, you should always limit yourself to writing at least 300 word content on your blog, and then probably go beyond that, 800 or 500, or if you can do that, 1,000 words for your content. The next one after the content should be either a conclusion or a call to action. Call to action is wherein you invite your readers to leave a comment on your comment section if they have more questions about the content or about the topic that they have read. Or let's say they wanted to share more idea, to add more, so they can just leave their ideas on the comment section, or invite your readers to share the content to their social media like Facebook, Twitter. So that's the call to action part. It's like an invitation to extend your readership to post that blog post on their Facebook account, so that you can have potential readers in the future, because it will be posted on their timeline or their Facebook accounts. So that's call to action. Either you invite them to leave questions on the comment section, or share their ideas on the comment section, or let's say you can state there on your call to action, if you learn something from this discussion, please share this post to your Facebook page. So Julian earlier emphasized about videos on YouTube. Yes, still the same. I also do vlogging. You can check my vlogs on YouTube. Just search Skip the Flip or Philip Andrew Mayol. What I usually do is I invite my viewers to subscribe, to click on the notification, or to go below my description box, because as a YouTuber, you can only leave links, clickable links on the description box that's below the video. And then again, before you publish, or after publishing, of course, let's go back to our discussion last week. Social media sharing. You share your content on your Facebook, on your Twitter, or if you wanted to convert that into a graphic or picture, you can convert your content into a picture and post it on your Instagram. But again, I think on Instagram, it's not yet workable. It's not yet clickable. The links on your caption, it's not yet clickable. But if you post your pictures on Instagram and share it to Facebook, the link should be clickable. Okay guys, I already have 5 minutes more, but I think I'm about to wrap up this discussion. I would like to thank everyone who's online and watching this episode 2 of my live stream Sundays. If you can also subscribe to my Facebook page or like my Facebook page, that's Skip the Flip. You can also check that on this video, and also follow me on my socials. That's Skip the Flip on Facebook, Instagram still at Skip the Flip, and on YouTube, because again I also do vlogging. You can check my channel on youtube.com/Skip the Flip. On Twitter, by the way, I have different username because I created that last 2009. That's Flippy0721, Flippy 0721, because Skip the Flip is no longer available. So that's the bad part of not getting the username first. That's no to branding. Okay, if you don't have other questions, thank you very much. I hope you learned something for tonight's discussion. Again, I'd like to thank ASOS Philippines for partnering with me for my live stream Sundays. Every Sunday, guys, I'll be live streaming from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Philippine Standard Time on my Facebook page. I'll be talking about or discussing more about blogging, social media, and other stuff. Probably soon, I'll be talking about product reviews. I don't know. It depends on the availability of my partner brands to give me or feature their products here on my live stream. So currently, I'm using an Asus Zenfone Live to live stream. So I'm very thankful for Asus Philippines for partnering to this project, because I'm given the opportunity to use a Zenfone Live to live stream right now with you guys for this live stream Sundays. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, thank you very much for watching. See you next Sunday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for Skip the Flip live stream Sundays. Have a good night and thank you very much.
I don't care unless I got you. Say, baby, I love you. Tell me the same. I don't care unless I got you. I will say it if it's not true.